Good afternoon. I am a sock marionette on my channel, A Bargain Counter Argument, and I am a middle-aged lady in a tiara who talks about books and such like. And it's telling me nobody's here, but that doesn't mean anything. So, yeah. Oh, a couple of people are here. Nice. Good afternoon. I just wanted to tell everybody heads up. I am going to be, Barkity! I have Barkity Barkity. I don't know if Gwen is here. I hope Gwen is here because I have Barkity. This is a Boynton dog. Thomas Wolfe. Like Thomas Wolfe, but Thomas Wolfe. Barkity Barkity. And I also have another Boynton animal, Emily Dickinson. Like Emily Dickinson, but she's a chicken. Bark, 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 bark. Barkity Barkity. Barkity Barkity. Walkity Walkity. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try to do this a little shorter than usual because B and Tara on, I believe it's on B's channel, are going to be having the Tea and Biscuits a live show this evening at, well, afternoon for some of you, evening for some of us, 7 p.m. Eastern. And Addie Dulac, who I believe she's been on the show before, she's a lot of fun, and that's at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I don't want to go too long because I'm hoping I'll be able to go. I have a little bit of a headache I'm trying to get rid of here. And I know probably other people are going to want to do that. So yeah, so I am going to try not to go too long today. And if anybody wants to check in with what they've been up to, we love them both, but that chicken is really funny. She has such a serious look to her. And she's got these like very stringy legs. And she just looks so serious. Like, I can't believe I'm here and this is what's happening to me. Her beak used to be like, I think basically the same color as her feet, but she was exposed to too much sunlight. But we love her anyway. Anyway, so, and of course, Thomas Wolfe. He has pink satin under ears. They match my robe, except my robe's not satin, but you know. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm gonna try to do this not be so long today. We'll see. We'll see. I've been having a little bit of a headache off and on all day, kind of. I finally took something for it about half an hour ago, so I'm hoping it abates and I don't have to call things short. This is the tiara is, you know, I think it's the lightest weight one that I own, so that'll help. So today's deal is Midnight Secrets by Kit Daley. This is Candlelight Ecstasy Romance. Let's see. Number 424. And I'm not sure of the month, but this is from 1986. And I actually started it just like I read the first 10% a couple of minutes ago. Oh, hippo birdies! Gwen, you're here! And you can see the Boyntons. I actually do have a stuffed hippo. These are the only two Boyntons that I have right now. And I have, but I have a stuffed hippo. And of course, I have a lot of lambs. So for my sister's birthday, because she loves hippo birdies, hippo birdies to use. So I have taken a picture of the hippo, Emily Dickinson, and two lambs and sent it to her on her birthday. And she likes it. Okay, so yes, so I actually started this book already, and ooh, it is prime 1986 goodness. Now, I think when I teased this last week, somebody was saying that dude looks a little bit like Tom Selleck without the mustache, and we've already had a reference in a reference to Tom Selleck in the book. Now, this is tricky because if I turn on my reading light, it's going to like blast you. So I mean, when we do the sprints, I'm going to turn the computer around so you have a lovely view of the fall tree. Mm-hmm. It's getting there. Okay, so she was a mystery writer and the creator of a female detective with ESP. But Meredith Ryan had never envisioned Simon Hunter. I think there were two TV shows that were on the air as this book was published. There was Hunter with, oh, what was that guy's name? Fred something? He was a retired football player, good looking dude. And Simon and Simon, about the two brothers who were, the two brothers who were had a private investigation firm called Simon and Simon because that was their surname. One was like the laid back kind of good old boy Gerald McRaney, and the other was like the super uptight, uh, kind of like I think he was actually a lawyer as well as being a private detective, and I can't remember the actor's name. I want to say Parker Stevenson, but I don't think it was Parker Stevenson. It was that other guy, the one who's not Parker Stevenson. That one. Stormy has this to say. Okay, the party can begin. I am here. Woohoo! It's a party. Let's see. Simon and Simon. Who was the guy in Simon and Simon who wasn't Gerald McRaney? It was. Oh, for crying out loud. Boy, this is awesome. It's Jameson Parker. That's who it was. It was Jameson Parker, not Parker Stevenson. And anyway, so back to this. So I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a background on where that name might have come from. Okay. So we have Simon Hunter. The private eye broke all the rules, from his snazzy red T-bird to his elusive charm. Telling you, having read the first 10% of the book, his charm is pretty elusive so far. He provoked conflict and chemistry at first sight. Ooh, I want to just get into a massive, massive argument with a guy I find handsome. That's just, for some people, that would be an ideal relationship. It doesn't appeal to me. Clearly, they were too close for comfort when Simon came to the lavish Connecticut estate, scene of Meredith's eagerly awaited murder mystery weekend. Woohoo! He'd be like a ringer at one of those things. He's a private investigator, probably a retired cop, and he was just like, yes, competing against a bunch of people who weren't. 2 magical days, love in the moonlit ballroom, and he disappeared. Why? Now Meredith had to solve the real mystery about the detective who'd stolen her heart. Okay, so we start. Meredith also teaches a writing class at a local college. Just like seems to be just like not a career for her. I mean, her career is writing mysteries. It seems like she just does this kind of like because a friend of hers asked her to, and now she's like kind of regretting that. Anyway, she's a little late because her car won't start, and she gets to the faculty parking lot, and this guy cuts her off and steals the parking spot, even though he doesn't have a faculty sticker. And she's like, she honks at him, she points at the sign, and he just waves her off and goes into the building. She goes in and she checks it. She finds a parking space. She goes in, she checks her mailbox. There's no message from Simon Hunter. So she's like, oh, okay, well, he was supposed to be here today. I invited him to come, but he didn't, he didn't respond. So she goes into the class and she apologizes that Simon Hunter isn't going to be there. And then she sees the guy from the car that cut her off, and he's in the back, and he's like, oh yeah, actually I'm here. She's like, oh, okay, he's here after all. Nice. However, let me see. The thing. Okay. It's hard to see without that reading light, and but I don't want to. He says to her, I wouldn't have been so busy if I'd known what you looked like, hon. It's like, this is her workplace, sir. And I don't know. It's just like he's like trying to embarrass her and keep her off balance, and he's never even met her and making. I don't know. So we'll see how this goes. And like I said, I'd like to keep it fairly short today for the Tea and Biscuit, because the Tea and Biscuits live stream is at 7 p.m. and they are going to be talking with Addie Dulac, the author. And I know there probably a lot of people want to go see that. I'm going to try to make it if my headache doesn't get worse. It seems to be getting better. So, are we ready for 10 minutes of yuck? Let's see. I've been pretty mellow the last few days. I'm kind of tired today. Um, the headache, I think, is like a sinus deal. I've been sleeping with the window open, which is nice. However, I think it does have a negative effect on my sinus situation. So, 10 minutes of yuck, which I am not going to be doing 10 minutes of yuck unless this book really turns out to be bad, because I'm going to be reading this. I'm on like page, oops, I misplaced my bookmark. I'm on page 19 of 188. So, yeah. So that's the deal. Okay, I'm going to do, I hope this is not another situation where it's not loading people's comments. Let's see. I'll just double check on YouTube because I'm in StreamYard. Let's see what it says. This is very exciting. This is just like the most fascinating live stream you've ever seen. This is just like the most. There we go. Oh, I see. Stormy's giving me the thumbs up. And so is Wyoming Barkety. So we know. Okay, cool. Yes, I am seeing those. I just went on to YouTube. That's why you got a little bit of an echo. There's being an alpha, and then there's being a jackass, says Thornwick. I think he's not being an alpha. He's being an alfalfa. He-Man, Woman Haters Club, and all. Okay, so so we're gonna do 10 minutes of whatever. So until 2:22. Oh, I put 2:22 like we all live in the same time zone. Okay, put that up, and I will see you in 10 minutes. Okay. And we're back. Seems like people took off. And Stormy says, I will be listening to The Unholy by Heather Graham. B is joined us. Hi, B. Thank goodness you're here. I was hoping for some midweek motivation. I don't know how I'm going to do with that. Earlier I was explaining that, excuse me, that I'm not going to go too long today because of your stream this evening with Tara and Addie Lulock. So I have a little bit of a headache and I'm kind of tired. So I'm hoping to finish a little bit early so that I have time for a nap and then everybody else has time to do their stuff before that live stream at 7 Eastern. So I am reading this book. It is not good. I don't like it. I don't think I'm going to stick with it because this dude is such a jackwagon. Just absolutely. B says it's not fair that you look that good with a headache. Well, I do like my dim light when I have a headache, so that probably helps. And this is my lightest weight tiara. But I'm sorry that you're feeling poorly. It's been coming and going all day. I took something for it a few minutes before, half hour or so before the live stream. It seems to be on the wane, but I don't know. I think it's sinuses because they keep the windows open this time of year. I mean, at night, not right now because it's too noisy. Anyway, this guy is just such a jackass. So she notifies campus, but before she knows who he is, after he's stolen her parking spot, she notifies campus police. So when he's done talking to the class, they come out and his car he thinks it's been stolen, and it turns out no, it was just towed. And so she's like, she feels kind of bad because he was there to speak to her class. So, however, so she's just like, whatever, man. And she goes home. And well, they actually end up having lunch together with her friend, the guy who hired her to teach the class because he's trying to do some matchmaking. They have a little bit of chat about the murder mystery weekend because it's 1986. We have to explain what a murder mystery weekend is. Oh, also, he was saying she didn't get his letter saying that he was going to be there because it was they have a new person in the mailroom who misdirected it. And also, he tried to call her, but her phone was busy the whole time. And she's like, oh, she probably took it off, removed it, took the receiver off the hook so that she could write. And she's like, maybe I should get an answering machine. Or, she could wait 20, 25 years and then she can just use a cell phone, smartphone, voicemail. Oops, Slate was making a cup of coffee. Well, I hope you brought enough for everyone. Anyway, so she's like, so they do that. And then so she goes home and she's working out on her exercise bike and watching a soap opera that she enjoys. And during the lunch, he was like denigrating her work. He had read one of her books and he's like, well, I liked the writing and I liked the murder mystery. I liked the plot, but I didn't like your detective because her detective uses ESP and he thinks that that's unrealistic. And it's like, dude, it's fiction. And anyway, so she's riding her exercise bike and watching TV, and he comes knocking on her door and she ignores it because that, like, when she's on her exercise bike and watching TV, that is her me time. She does not interrupt that for anyone, not for the door, not for the phone, not for anyone. So she's like biking away and she hears the door open. And the next thing she knows, he's like physically lifting her off of her exercise bike and complaining about the tow fee that he had to pay. This is no, just no. And it's just like, no, I don't like this guy. I don't like her for thinking that this is acceptable behavior, or at least nothing that she would, like, I don't know, call the police over, because this is no. Exercise bike and soap opera, very 1986. She's watching it on a VCR. And her friend is like, "You bought that VCR just so you could record your soap opera." And it's like, "Well, yeah." Like this is like a bad thing or something. It's like, "Well, yeah, that's what they were for. They were for time shifting programming and for watching watching videos and time shifting programming. That's kind of the whole point." So I don't know. Were you supposed to spend your entire time with your VCR watching depressing movies from the Soviet bloc to better yourself intellectually or something? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sticking with this. This guy is just a jackwagon. I don't like where this is going. I don't like this. He's like negging her. He's like complimenting her physical appearance. Oh, and like he shows up and he's like, you need to pay my tow fee. And she's like, yeah, I'll pay that towing fee. It was like $25, which now would probably be probably around 125, something like that. And she's like, oh, I'll pay it. You were doing me a favor. And I, I had your car towed because he figured out she was the one who had it towed. And she's like, yeah, I'll pay for it. And then she goes over to her purse and she's got like $2.67, which nowadays would be about what, 7.50. I don't know. so, uh, so she's like, I can write you a check. And he's like, well, I only take cash. And she's like, well, sorry, I don't have 50, I don't have $25 on me. And he's like, well, how about you serve me dinner and it'll be okay? And she's like, I don't have anything in the fridge. And he's like, oh, well, that's okay. I brought steaks just in case. And she's like, I'm a vegetarian. And he's like, well, you can eat a steak just this once. And she's like, dude, I am a vegetarian. And he says, at this point, he actually says, and I quote, and I quote, I want to quote if I can find it. I'm not sure I like your tone, he says to her. This is the guy who just broke into her house because although he knocked, she didn't tell him to come in. He just walked in, picked her up bodily from her exercise bike, and invited himself to dinner. And when she's like, yeah, I'm not cooking steak, you can put it in the fridge and then take it when you leave, he's like, I don't like your tone. Well, I don't like you, mister. I just don't. Hey, I'm finally here, says Lisa. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And Stormy says, yeah, if it has you that aggravated, you should probably find a different one. LOL. Yeah, life is too short. Although, Stormy, if any of this sounds appealing to you, I'm happy to send this along. Be still my heart, says B. Yeah, just like such a jerk. So, since I'm not going to be reading this because, as Stormy says, oh, who needs the aggravation? Why should I allow myself to get agitated over this dumb book with this dumb dude? Gwen says, if you think it's a sinus headache, try using a washcloth to soak your face with mint tea. That sounds like it would be awesome regardless of whether or not it does anything for a headache. That sounds like really refreshing. I'm not in a position to do it now, but yeah, maybe during this next sprint. I would take it just for my collection and I would try it. LOL. Yeah, we will set something up. So I think since I'm not going to be reading this during the sprints, I'll find something else. I have so many books that I haven't hauled, and most of them, from library sales and whatnot, and most of them have just gone into Gen Pop. I've already logged them and shelved them, so I don't remember which ones were the newest. However, I got some books in the mail yesterday that I actually have a couple of different things I got in the mail recently that I think I'll share during the next break, since I won't be recapping that stupid jackwagon alfalfa whatever. That's a really good idea with the washcloth and with mint tea. I'll have to see if I have any mint tea downstairs, because like I said, that sounds like it would be like really nice and refreshing even if it weren't for the headache. So yeah, of course. I also have my makeup on. I know I look really pale, but that's because I am. A call. Okay. Yeah, because I haven't done one of those in ages. Oh, I also got some more super romances, but I have lots of stuff I can haul. So that gives us something to chit chat about because I'm going to throw this in an envelope and mail it to Stormy once she DMs me her a mailing address she's comfortable sharing. I won't make her go through Pango books. Okie doke. So, do we? Does anybody want to share what they're up to before we go into the next sprint? That'll be a half an hour sprint. I'll go looking for mint tea, and uh, I bet a lot of different teas would work well for that. I know some people who take their tea bags and they tea bag themselves. No, they squeeze out some of the excess liquid, put it in the fridge until it's nice and cool, and then put one tea bag on each eye. Supposed to reduce puffiness and stuff. I don't know. I mean, you can put anything cold on your face and it'll be nice. But mint tea sounds really, really good. Okay, so yeah, so that's what we'll do. I'll put us on a half an hour sprint. So if anybody has anything they want to share, uh, I was very disappointed that I don't like this because it is set in Connecticut, which is where I live. And I was hoping for some really nice Connecticut content, but nah, nothing doing. I grow lots of different flavors of mint and put them in my iced tea. This says Wyoming. Barkety, Barkety. Oh, this is also for B if she's still here, because I think I've sent her pictures of Thomas Wolfe before because her son very much likes the Sandra Boynton stuff. That sounds really nice. We used to have mint in the garden. I don't know why we don't, because it's easy to grow, but I think it was in this patch of like miscellaneous wild shrubs, which it got infested with a tree of heaven or something like that, and the whole thing had to go. And I guess we don't have mint anymore. Sent my address to you on a Discord. Thank you. I will see what I can do. We love Sandra Boynton. Yes, I'm pretty sure I sent you a picture of him. This is Thomas Wolfe and Emily Chickinson. Okay, are we ready for a half an hour sprint during which I will get my haul together and stuff? Okay, so we can sprint until 5 minutes past the hour. So sprinting until, whoops. Let's sprint, says Lisa. Yep, says Stormy. And I will see you in half an hour. Sprinting until 5 past the hour. Okay, it's 5 minutes past the hour, and so that's 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, and wherever else you may fall in the world, except that there are a lot of places where they're off by X number of hours plus 15 or plus 45 or plus 30. So not everybody does it exactly 1 hour. Not even within the United States, because isn't there like Iowa or someplace where they're like a half an hour anyway? Roxy Ann, I'm late. Love your tiara. Thank you so much. Not reading this time, but working and listening. Thank you. Appreciate your joining us. And also anybody else who's, yeah, appreciate everybody who's joining me. And if you're watching it back later, I appreciate you as well. I'm wearing, this is like my lightest weight tiara. And I think this is the first time I've worn it on camera. As you can see in the background, the fall tree. Mm-hmm. I think I was telling you about that last time, and I had a little bit more set up when I did my Thursday sprint, my special sprint with Violet. And Stormy says that she changed her book because she forgot, not sure how, but she did. She needs to read her chapters for Beaumont number 9. Wow, that's the J.A. Jance thing, right? Did you skip any, or have you just read that many? Because it seems like only a couple of months ago that you were reading the first one. Loving the fall tree, says B. Thank you so much. I have some things. I found this. Okay, so on Saturday, I went to a library sale up in Suffield, Connecticut, and then I went to one in Glastonbury, Connecticut, and then I was going to the Durham Public Library. This is Durham, Connecticut. I was not driving all the way to North Carolina or Maine or anywhere else that has a Durham, because my mom had some books on the hold shelf and she needed them picked up. Otherwise, they were going to be return to general population. So as I was driving through Durham to get her books, I saw that the church there had their monthly tag sale. And I was like, oh, I'll go to that after I go to the library. And while I was there, I picked up some books. I'm not going to do a full haul, but one of them I picked up specifically because it came up in one of B's live streams, and Tara was talking about it, and B started talking about it as well. And it was a book I had heard of but never actually read. And I'm not. I think we were in the middle of moving from. It came out in 1979, and that was when we were in the middle of moving from California to Belgium. So I missed it. Although now that I think about it, I think one of my classmates had really enjoyed it, but I didn't know what she was talking about. And that is Bunnicula by John and Deborah and James Howe. Because when I remember Colette telling me about it, was it Colette or Colleen? I don't know. Colette. Anyway, she was telling me that this was like her favorite book. And this is when I was in like 10th grade, and not 10th grade, when I was in 5th grade. And so it wouldn't have been too long after it came out. And I thought she was saying funicula, like the thing that goes up and down the side of a hill. And I didn't know what she was talking about. I don't know. But now I've read it and I enjoyed it. I read it last night, so I read Bunnicula. So I thought that was a fun find. Okay, and then Stormy says, we read the first 3 Beaumont in March and then 1 a month since then. Oh, okay, because I was thinking it was much more recently that you had been talking about reading the first one. Lisa says, I saw a bunch of J.A. Jance books at half price when I was there this weekend and thought of you, Stormy. Yeah, I can't look at J.A. Jance now without thinking about Stormy. That's the copy I had, says Wyoming. I think this particular edition was published in it doesn't say. Oh, here it is. I don't know. This is like a printing. I mean, the first Avon Camelot, which is what this is, was published in September of 1980. But this is a much later. It's the same edition, but I think it's a later printing. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah. So I have that, and I thought that was kind of fun. Me too, says B, that you think of Stormy when you see J.A. Janser. I love Bunnicula. Well, now I do too. I didn't have the creative wherewithal and the patience to do a photo for Instagram, but I will. Oh, yes, I will. And Stormy says, Lisa's so cool. I probably slowly collect the Jans books as I love them so much. I currently have 3, LOL. I love Bunnicula, and I have that copy. Okay, so, oh yeah, and here's something I've been meaning to talk about the last few times, and I keep forgetting because I'm frequently, in case you had noticed, flustered. And last week I was really flustered because I was just so warm. Oh my goodness. And that is my reading tracker. I'm tracking the amount of time spent reading, and the different colors represents different types of reading. So I finished my first sheet. This is 13 by 8, which I think makes us 104. And I have different colors, and I have a little key on the side to remind me of what they mean. Purple, those are arcs. Gray is online reading. That's fan fiction and commentary blogs, long form reporting online, that kind of thing. And, oh, golly. And green, those are library books. And a sort of peachy pink, pale orange, it looks like on the monitor, at least to me, is books that I own. As you can see, it's mostly been ARCs and online reading and some library reading. I did have myself down to no books, to only 1 book checked out. I'm up to 4 books checked out, including because I was able to get my hands on Zom Rom Com by Olivia Dade, which I haven't started yet, but I'm looking forward to. And so I am starting a new one. Because this went from August 6th to September 7th. So this started on September 8th. So this is only represents a couple of days reading, and I've kind of been going to town on it. Now I changed the colors because they're going to be fall. See, I have green for the remaining green leaves. I have yellow because I like it when the trees, there's some trees around here that are simultaneously have gold and green leaves on them, and I think those are just so pretty. And then brown, which represents bark and, you know, some of the dying leaves. And then this blue is for bright September skies, which we sometimes get. So far, you can see I have read somewhat online. The online reading is green, which I need to update, because this doesn't even represent what I've read today so far. Oh, what does the half-colored square mean? Roxanne wants to know. Okay, each square represents an hour, and this half-colored square is just because I only read a half an hour. Which I need to update because I did read another half hour online this morning. So yeah, the green is online, the brown is books that I own. The yellow is going to be ARCs, which I haven't gotten to yet, and the blue is going to be library books. Yeah, the half-colored square, sometimes it'll be like a quarter or 3/4 colored squares because I'll divide it into 15-minute increments if I need to. But yeah, that just represents a half an hour. And then when I went to enter the next block, it was a full hour, so I went ahead and colored it in entirely. And on this one, I did each square the same color. You can actually, I think you can see where there's an X in the middle of that. That was where I originally divided it into quarters and then filled them in as I read. Not all of them needed to do that. Yeah, but on all of these were always the squares the same color. And I decided this time that I will just, I'm going to just fill them in as I go, and I'm not going to worry about the square being all one color, except that yesterday, after I read a half an hour online, I read a full hour or so. Anyway, that's the deal. Okay, got it. Thanks. Yes, I think I over-explained it enough. That's kind of my deal. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. Now, oh, and the other book I was reading last night after I finished Funicula was Reboot by Amy Tintera, which I also picked up on uh, Saturday at Suffield. And I'm about a third of the way through that. This is YA dystopian science fiction, kind of was published in 2013, in kind of that whole cohort of Hunger Games, Divergent, etc. I'm enjoying it so far. I like that kind of thing. It's my jam. Okay. Now, do we want to have another sprint, or do we want to have a more robust haul? What do people think? I'm fine with either, says Lisa. Wyoming says anything you want as long as we keep seeing books. Okay, well, I will show you then, because when I was at Penny's Bookshelf a few weeks ago, this is in Milford, Connecticut. It's one of the few remaining like strip mall storefront shops where she sells mostly paperbacks. Your choice. Okay, I'm going to do a few books, and then we can do another sprint, I guess, because it's quarter past the hour. We've been at it for an hour and 15 minutes, and I was hoping to only do 2 hours, like I said, because of Tara and B's live stream this evening that I know I want to attend, and probably other people do as well. And I don't want people to get burned out on sprinting. I mean, live streams. Shadow of the Wolf by Rebecca Flanders. This is from a series I did not know existed. It is Silhouette Shadows. Silhouette is a category romance house that started, I think, in the late 70s, 79, 78, somewhere in there, and was quickly bought out by, it was started by Simon and Schuster. Harlequin bought it out, but maintained it as a separate line from Harlequin, although there were writers who wrote for both lines. This is Rebecca Flanders. I think she wrote for Presents, I'm not sure. And they started in 1993. They started Silhouette Shadows. Oh, and now they don't publish it all anymore. Harlequin just like folded them completely into Harlequin. If only we had Sarah here to give us the full timeline on how all that went down. But this is a paranormal series. I mean, it's a publisher's series, so it's by different writers, different premises, and so on. So I found this, and I was like, "Ooh, it's coming up on spooky season, so maybe I would like some more of these." So I ordered some from eBay, and I just made sure that I wasn't ordering any ones that I already had, since I only had two. That was pretty easy to do. See if I can find one of them in here. Golly. Is by a familiar writer, and it was the first one of the Silhouette Shadows. And now I can't find it. I wonder if I dumped it on the floor, because I did that. I put things on the floor, and it was not on purpose. Although I did look at the stuffed animals and say, I meant to do that. And they just gave me this look like, we thoroughly believe you. Let's see. Here it is. The Last Cavalier by Heather Graham Pochesera. She is, of course, also known as Heather Graham or Shannon Drake, and that is who Stormy was reading earlier before she realized she needed to get on that Beaumont action. Stormy says, awesome, I only have a couple of shadows that I found while thrifting. Yeah, I got a good price on these. I think it was one of those deals on eBay where they had a price which seemed pretty reasonable, and then I just kind of made a lowball offer. Well, not super lowball, but I knocked 10% off or something, made an offer, and they accepted it. So the list price isn't necessarily the list price. Yay, Heather Graham, says Stormy. Anyway, this was the first one, and this is some kind of, she's a modern day woman who's participating in a Civil War reenactment. She's like all dressed up in the outfit and everything, and then she runs into this dude. She's supposed to be playing a Union Civil War lady, and she runs into this dude who is, of course, from the actual Civil War itself, and he is from the Confederacy side. So that'll be interesting to see how how he takes the news that they lost and lost hard, and we don't practice slavery anymore. Uh, anyway, so yeah, okay. So yeah, that's the first one, and then I got some more. We've got Stranger in the Mist. I I really like that one. Uh, The Woman in White. Oh wait, I'm holding them on the wrong side. See, the thing is that StreamYard does not StreamYard reverses me. So when I hold it up like this, oops, I meant to do that. When I hold it up like this, like if I hold it here, as I'm looking at it, your comments are appearing on this side of the screen, but I've watched these back and I realized that actually, if I hold it like this, you can't really see it because Storm's comment or whoever's comment is going to be obscuring it. So I think I should actually be holding it over here. Now, to me, it looks like that comment is obscuring the cover, but it's not as far as anyway. If I'm ever holding something in a way that you can't see what it is, let me know and I'll adjust. I have about 30 shadow dreamscapes. Did they rename them dreamscapes or? So anyway, Woman in White, Footsteps in the Night, Break the Night, Kiss of Darkness, Shadow of the Wolf. This is the one I mentioned before because I found that at Penny's in Milford. Thunder Mountain. It's a real place in West Virginia. The Haunting of Briar Rose. The Haunting. Did I say hunting? It's haunting. Flashback. Night Mist. Working on some night mist. Oh yeah. Oh, working on my night mist. Okay. Lover in the Shadows. You've got your ghost story for the fall challenge. Yeah, and I think I got some werewolf and other stuff. Reincarnation. I don't know. I have The Woman in White, says Roxy Ann. I smell a body read, unless you've already read it, in which case you can reread it if you wanted to do buddy read. We can do that. So that's Silhouette Shadows, and I was planning to see how many of these would work for the fall challenge. I have to admit, I kind of am a little confused about what's going on with the fall challenge. So I'm going to hopefully host some sprints for that sometime soon. I don't know. And maybe somebody can help me figure it out because I have my StreamYard, I have a free account and I get 20 hours per month and it resets on the 14th of the month. And I still have several hours left. Plus, you know, they don't cut you off in the middle of a stream. If you have like 3 minutes left for StreamYard and you start a stream, as long as you don't end the stream, they'll just let you roll with it. So, but the point is that because I have so much time left, I might as well use it. So I'm going to see what I can do for scheduling stuff over the next few days. Because again, that runs out on 14th, which I believe is Saturday or Sunday. Anyway, so those are the Silhouette Shadows. I also have something else fun that I got from eBay that I can talk about when we come back from a sprint or save it for next week. Again, I was thinking we could cut this early, not because I'm not having a good time. And my headache is gone. I didn't find any mint tea downstairs, but I'm definitely going to keep that tip in mind for the future because that, like I said, that sounds refreshing even if you don't have a headache. Anyway, so we could have another sprint and come back and discuss things, and I could show you some more treasures, or we could just cut it off for the day, and so we all have time to kind of rest, relax, recharge prior to Tara and Bee's live stream, which is at 7 p.m. Eastern on Bee's channel with Addie Dulac. She's been on the show before on the with Bee and Tara before, and she's a lot of fun. So you don't want to miss that if you can help it. Lisa says, oh, where's Lisa? I know she says, I'm fine with either, but I'm hitting my wall right now. I am too a little bit. So I think maybe we could just cut it short for the week and come back next week and I'll talk about some more treasures and stuff. And I'll see if there's a book I want to read that isn't going to give me conniptions. So I appreciate everybody joining me. And for those of you who are watching it back later, I appreciate you doing that. And I'm going to try to set something up, like I said, for between now and the 14th, because that's when my StreamYard hours reset. So watch this space. If you haven't subscribed and you want to, please go ahead and do that. Because then as soon as I put it up, you should see it in your notifications. And I'll also post it on Discord. So if you're on Discord, you won't miss it if you, for whatever reason, don't want to subscribe or don't subscribe or whatever. Sounds cool. Sounds good, says Roxanne. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So yeah. So I usually announce these on Storm's channel, on Discord, Storm server, Tea and Biscuits, Wake Up to Romance. So, if you don't subscribe and you don't feel like subscribing, you'll still be able to see the notifications there. So I will probably see at least some of you. Well, you won't see me and I won't see you, but I will probably be in the comments for Tara's and Bee's live stream. Again, 7:00 tonight on Bee's channel, Mama Needs to Read Romance with Addie Duloc. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next week. Well, probably sooner, like I said, depending on how I schedule things. Bye, says Storm.